This is the Great Basin prescribed fire and weather briefing for Monday, March 9th. We do have some projects ongoing given by the purple circles across the higher terrain north to south across Utah. One project over Tahoe and down in the south. Overall quieting down further in the north. It's been fairly wet in the northern half of the geographic area, half-inch to inch and a half of liquid equivalent precipitation. There were some significant snows in the higher terrain late last week, but it still continues to be bone dry across the southern half, especially the southern third of the geographic area. The flash drought index indicates that over the past 2 months, this is the area that has been very dry, the highest level of drought on the flash drought index, diminishing a bit, but still on the droutier side, for lack of a better word, further north. Our snowpack continues to be low, down near or below 50% in southern areas, recovered a little bit into the low to mid 60% range in central areas, and closer to normal, I would say just slightly below normal, areas further north. Our current 10-hour fuel conditions, you can see that we do have some upper single digits to mid single digits in the far south area, especially over in Nevada, but then pretty quickly moistens up, especially areas that did have some recent precipitation. On the large-scale weather map, we have a little low pressure area over Baja, and that's staying further south. This is part of the system that gave us precipitation late last week. High pressure off the coast, and overall drier air across the region, although there is a kind of a cold front, kind of hard to see here, but these tight packed height lines and these stronger winds indicate a boundary between warmer air to the south and cooler air to the north, but not much precipitation. Now that we have increasing daylight, ventilation index, dispersion looks pretty good. Part of it is the increasing surface winds that we have on the left. Relative humidity, mid-teens in southern areas, 25 to 35% further north. Pretty strong transport winds, especially in the northern areas today. Vertical mixing, yellows to red, indicates several thousand feet above ground level. That's typical for this time of year as we get into March. On Tuesday, low pressure area slowly starts moving across the southwest with scattered precipitation. You see a definition of a front through here, a little trickle. It could be some light precipitation, but nothing very heavy. A lot of this moisture spilling over the high pressure ridge here over the Pacific Northwest, doesn't have much initial moisture with it. Excellent overall dispersion, however. Relative humidity, 15 to 20% in the south. Actually higher in Vegas. They're closer to that upper level low. And then 30 to 40% minimum humidity further north. Surface winds, you can see them through here. Basically coming out of the west-northwest at 5 to 15 miles an hour. Some pockets of 20 or 25 where we see the oranges and the purples. And that's especially accentuated on the transport wind level. Pretty breezy day across much of the region on Tuesday out of the west-northwest. Vertical mixing looking really good. So good burn period, except maybe a little too much wind for prescription in some areas. Now on Wednesday, high pressure ridge dominates off the Baja coast. We have a large area of moisture pushing in, but it's coming over a high pressure ridge, so it's not a lot of precipitation here initially, a lot of increasing clouds. Overall dispersion, not too bad, but going a little bit downhill because we're under the influence of a bit more high pressure and also lighter surface winds in central areas. Some locally better winds of 10, 15 miles an hour further north. You can see the humidity again, low teens in the south, upper teens to mid-20s in central areas, 30 to 50% further north. Some good transport winds across parts of northern Nevada and parts of Idaho and Wyoming, and very good mixing heights. 3-day precipitation totals, dry across most of our area except some light precipitation amounts and maybe some locally moderate amounts of a quarter inch. Up in the central Idaho mountains and western Wyoming, some of that could be in the form of snow in the highest elevations. And then further down the road, high pressure dominates off the Southern California coast on Thursday. We still see that storm track, this tight pack of the height lines, but basically to our north, spilling over a bit into parts of Idaho and Wyoming. Excellent overall dispersion. That pattern continues Friday, Saturday, Sunday. High pressure really starts pushing up off the Pacific coast. We still see a lot of this moisture pushing on through here. Sometimes it's referred to as a dirty ridge of high pressure, so there could be some precipitation coming through here. Snow levels could be coming up in a lot of these areas also, so maybe snow confined to the highest peaks. But you can see day 4 or 5 precipitation moderate to locally heavy in the highest elevations of Idaho, especially as you get towards the Salmon River. There could be an inch and a half to 2 inch amounts. And additionally, again, days 6 and 7, quite a bit of precipitation up there. But again, it tapers off significantly further south. And 7-day totals, you can see quite a bit in the north and quite a lot of nothing further south. 8 to 14, the outlook, a strong signal of above normal temperatures and overall drier than normal conditions, except for that portion of the central Idaho mountains where they could see somewhat wetter conditions. This concludes our briefing. Have a great day.